The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the Galactic Empire's scout ship, the Stargazer. Captain Zorn, a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms, stood on the bridge. His large, bug-like eyes scanned the various screens around him. "Sir, we're picking up some strange signals," said First Officer Vex, her tentacles moving quickly over the control panel. Zorn moved closer, his interest piqued. "What kind of signals, Vex?" "They seem to be radio waves, sir. And they're coming from the 3rd planet in this system." The captain's eyes widened. Radio waves meant intelligent life, and intelligent life meant a potential new addition to the Empire's ever-growing list of conquered worlds. "Take us closer, but keep us hidden," Zorn ordered. "Let's see what we're dealing with." As the Stargazer moved towards the blue and green planet, the crew became more and more excited. It had been decades since they had discovered a new civilization. Most of the galaxy was already under the Empire's control. The ship entered orbit, using its advanced cloaking technology to stay hidden from the primitive sensors of the planet below. The crew watched in fascination as images of the planet's surface began to appear on their screens. "It's beautiful," whispered Vex, her usual professional demeanor slipping for a moment. And it was. The planet was a swirl of blues, greens, and whites. Vast oceans, lush forests, and sprawling cities covered its surface. But what caught Zorn's attention were the vehicles moving about on the planet and in its skies. "They have achieved powered flight," he mused. "And look there, satellites in orbit. They're on the brink of space travel." For hours, the crew of the Stargazer observed the planet. They intercepted communications, analyzed the atmosphere, and studied the inhabitants. These creatures, which they learned called themselves humans, were unlike anything they had seen before. "They're so diverse," noted the ship's scientist, Dr. Crix. "Different colors, sizes, cultures, and yet they're all the same species. Fascinating." But it wasn't just the physical aspects of humans that intrigued the alien observers. As they delved deeper into intercepted data streams, they began to piece together a picture of human society and capabilities. "Captain, you need to see this," called Vex urgently. Zorn hurried over to her station. On the screen was a list of human technological achievements and scientific understanding. It was impressive, to say the least. "Nuclear fission and fusion," Zorn read aloud. "Quantum computing, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering. They're more advanced than we thought." "But sir," interjected Dr. Crix, "they're also incredibly warlike. Look at their history, constant conflicts, weapons of mass destruction. They're dangerous." Zorn considered this information carefully. Yes, these humans were more advanced than they had initially believed, and yes, they seemed to have a propensity for violence. But they were still no match for the might of the Galactic Empire, were they? "Prepare a full report for High Command," Zorn finally ordered. "Include everything we've learned about their technology, their military capabilities, and their society." As the Stargazer began its journey back to the heart of the Empire, Zorn couldn't shake a feeling of unease. These humans were unlike any species they had encountered before. They were adaptable, resourceful, and fiercely independent. For the first time in his long career, Zorn wondered if perhaps they were underestimating their potential new subjects. But such thoughts were quickly pushed aside. After all, the Empire had conquered thousands of worlds. What challenge could one small planet pose? As the blue-green orb disappeared from view, none of the aliens aboard the Stargazer could have imagined the storm that was coming. They couldn't have known that their report would set in motion a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of the Galactic Empire. For the humans of Earth, blissfully unaware of the watchful eyes that had been upon them, life continued as normal. But their world was about to change forever. The first seeds of a conflict that would reshape the galaxy had been sown. And somewhere in the vast emptiness of space, a scout ship carried a message that would soon bring 2 civilizations into a collision course. The Galactic Empire was about to face humanity for the first time. They should have heeded the warning that would come. They should have run while they still could. The sky over New York City was clear and blue on the day that changed everything. People went about their daily lives, unaware that high above them, something extraordinary was about to happen. At 2:15 p.m., every screen in Times Square suddenly went black. Then a face appeared, a face that was clearly not human. The alien had blue skin, 4 eyes, and no nose. People stopped in their tracks, thinking it was some kind of movie promotion. But it wasn't. People of Earth, the alien spoke in perfect English, its voice echoing from every speaker. "We are the Galactic Empire. We come in peace." Panic spread like wildfire. Within minutes, the entire planet was in chaos. Governments scrambled to respond, militaries went on high alert, and ordinary people tried to make sense of what was happening. In Washington, D.C., President Sarah Chen sat in the Oval Office, surrounded by her top advisors. Her face was grim as she watched the alien's message replay on a large screen. "What are our options?" she asked, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. General Mike Thompson, a tall man with graying hair, spoke up. "Our satellites have detected a large ship in orbit, Madam President. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. If they wanted to attack, we'd be in trouble." The room fell silent. The weight of the situation pressed down on everyone. Suddenly, a bright light filled the Oval Office. When it faded, 3 aliens stood before them. Secret Service agents drew their weapons, but the aliens seemed unfazed. The tallest alien, clearly the leader, stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Zix of the Galactic Empire. We wish to speak with your leader." President Chen stood up, her chin held high. "I am President Chen. I speak for Earth." Zix nodded. "Excellent. We have a proposition for you, President Chen. The Galactic Empire offers Earth a place in our vast network of planets. Under our rule, you will have peace, technological advancements, and protection. And if we refuse?" Chen asked, her eyes narrowing. Zix's 4 eyes blinked slowly. "Refusal is not recommended. The Empire is not accustomed to being denied." As this conversation was happening, similar scenes were playing out in capitals around the world. Alien ambassadors appeared in Beijing, Moscow, London, and other major cities. Their message was the same everywhere: join us or face the consequences. In New Delhi, Prime Minister Raj Patel listened to the alien ambassador with growing anger. As soon as the alien finished speaking, Patel stood up, his fists clenched. "India will never surrender its freedom," he declared. "We have faced empires before. We are not afraid." In Moscow, President Anastasia Volkova's response was equally defiant. "Russia has a long history of repelling invaders," she said, her voice cold. "We suggest you leave while you still can." As reports flooded in from around the world, President Chen made a decision. She turned to Ambassador Zix, her face set in determination. "Ambassador," she said, "I appreciate your offer, but Earth is not for sale. We are not interested in becoming part of your empire." Zix's expression didn't change, but the temperature in the room seemed to drop. "I urge you to reconsider, President Chen. The alternatives are unpleasant." Chen stood her ground. "Our answer is no. We suggest you leave our solar system immediately." After the aliens left, world leaders quickly organized a secret global conference. Despite their differences, they all agreed on one thing: Earth would not submit. As the conference ended, President Chen turned to her advisors. "Prepare a message for the Galactic Empire," she ordered. "Tell them this: we warned you to run." Little did the aliens know, humanity had a few surprises up its sleeve. In secret bunkers around the world, scientists and engineers were already working on weapons and defenses that the Galactic Empire couldn't imagine. The humans knew they were outgunned and outnumbered. But they had something the Empire didn't understand: an unbreakable spirit and a fierce love of freedom. As night fell on that historic day, people around the world looked up at the stars. For the first time, they knew for certain that they were not alone in the universe. But they also knew that a great challenge lay ahead. The Galactic Empire had made a grave mistake. They had underestimated humanity. And soon, very soon, they would learn just how costly that mistake would be. The mood in the United Nations emergency session was tense. Representatives from every nation on Earth sat in grim silence as they watched a holographic display of the Galactic Empire's massive fleet approaching their solar system. "They'll be here in less than a month," General Thompson said, his voice echoing in the large chamber. "Our best estimates suggest they have enough firepower to glass the entire planet 10 times over." Murmurs of fear rippled through the crowd. But then, a voice cut through the noise. "And yet here we stand," said Dr. Amelia Wong, Earth's leading xenotechnologist, united as never before. All eyes turned to her as she walked to the center of the room. Yes, their technology is advanced. Yes, their numbers are great. But we have something they don't expect: the element of surprise. She pressed a button, and the hologram changed to show a series of strange-looking devices. "Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Project Phoenix." For the next hour, Dr. Wong explained how Earth's scientists had been secretly reverse-engineering alien technology from crashed UFOs for decades. They had made breakthroughs in anti-gravity, energy weapons, and even rudimentary faster-than-light communication. "We're not as helpless as they think," she concluded. "We can fight back." The room erupted in a mixture of hope and determination. Plans were quickly made. Earth would present a facade of weakness while secretly preparing for war. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, aboard the Galactic Empire's flagship, Eternal Dominion, Emperor Zax lounged on his throne. His multiple eyes blinked lazily as he listened to Ambassador Zix's report. "The humans have rejected our generous offer, Your Eminence," Zix said, bowing low. "They seem to think they can resist us." Emperor Zax laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "How quaint. Prepare the invasion fleet. We'll make an example of these humans." Just then, a junior communications officer rushed in. "Your Eminence, we've received a transmission from Earth." The Emperor waved a tentacle dismissively, probably begging for mercy already. "Play it." The room fell silent as a hologram appeared. It showed President Chen, her face set in determination. "Galactic Empire," she said, her voice steady. "This is Earth's final warning. Leave our solar system now. We will not submit. We will not surrender. And if you choose to attack—" She paused, her eyes blazing. "We warned you to run." The transmission cut off, leaving the room in stunned silence. Emperor Zax's eyes narrowed. "They dare threaten us. Ready the fleet. We attack immediately." Back on Earth, preparations were in full swing. In hidden bases around the world, soldiers trained on newly developed energy weapons. Engineers worked around the clock to outfit satellites with cloaking devices and plasma cannons. Deep beneath the surface of the moon, a secret base hummed with activity. Here, Earth's first faster-than-light ships were being constructed, reverse-engineered from alien technology. Dr. Wong stood in the control room, watching as the first ship, christened Humanity's Hope, prepared for its maiden voyage. "Godspeed," she whispered as the ship disappeared in a flash of light, off to seek allies among the stars. In homes around the world, people prepared for the coming storm. Families stocked up on supplies, built shelters, and said prayers to whatever gods they believed in. But they didn't just pray. They worked. In garages and workshops, ordinary people tinkered with homemade EMP devices and improvised armor. Hackers worked day and night, probing for weaknesses in the aliens' communication systems. The human spirit, that indomitable force that had seen the species through ice ages and plagues, wars, and disasters, was awakening. A quiet determination spread across the globe. They might be outgunned, but they would not go down without a fight. As the Galactic Empire's fleet entered the solar system, They expected to find a cowering primitive species ready for conquest. Instead, they found a hornet's nest, primed and ready to strike. Little did they know, the humans had one more trick up their sleeve, something that would change the course of the war before it even began. As Emperor Zax gave the order to begin the invasion, a small, nondescript probe floated undetected among his mighty warships. Inside was a quantum-entangled message, waiting to be sent. On Earth, President Chen stood in the Global Command Center, her finger hovering over a button. She took a deep breath and pressed it. Across the vastness of space, the probe activated, and the galaxy was about to learn why you should always take humanity's warnings seriously. The battle for Earth was about to begin, and the Galactic Empire was in for one hell of a surprise. The sky over Earth turned dark as thousands of alien ships entered the atmosphere. The Galactic Empire's invasion had begun. Emperor Zax watched from his flagship, a smug smile on his face. "Look at how primitive they are," he said to his generals. "This will be over quickly." But as the first wave of ships approached major cities, something unexpected happened. Suddenly, hundreds of hidden defense platforms emerged from the oceans, mountains, and even from underground. They fired strange energy beams that the Empire's shields couldn't stop. "What's happening?" Emperor Zax shouted as he watched dozens of his ships fall from the sky. On Earth, in a secret bunker, President Chen and her team cheered. "The gravity disruptors work," exclaimed Dr. Wong. "Their ships are helpless against them." But the celebration was short-lived. The Empire quickly adapted, sending in smaller, faster ships that could dodge the energy beams. "Deploy the nanite swarms," ordered General Thompson. Across the globe, millions of tiny robots filled the air. They looked like silver dust, but they quickly covered the alien ships, eating through their hulls and disabling their weapons. In New York, a massive alien walker stomped through the streets, crushing cars and buildings. But then, from the subway tunnels, a group of humans emerged wearing powered armor suits. They looked tiny next to the walker, but their weapons packed a punch. Within minutes, the walker was down. Similar scenes played out in cities around the world. The Empire had numbers and advanced technology, but humans fought with desperate courage and clever tactics. In orbit, things were just as chaotic. The Empire's main fleet engaged Earth's hastily assembled Space Force, but the human ships were piloted by video gamers whose skills in virtual combat translated surprisingly well to real space battles. "Bravo Squad, use the asteroid belt for cover," shouted Jenny Kim, a former esports champion now commanding a squadron of fighters. Her ships weaved through the debris, ambushing much larger alien vessels. Back on the Eternal Dominion, Emperor Zax was furious. "How is this possible? They're just primitives." His tactical officer, looking nervous, replied, "Your Eminence, it seems we underestimated them. Their technology is more advanced than we thought, and their tactics are unpredictable." Just then, alarms blared across the ship. "We're being boarded," someone shouted. A group of human special forces, using stolen alien teleportation technology, had appeared right on the bridge. Before anyone could react, they had Emperor Zax at gunpoint. "We warned you to run," said the team leader, her voice cold. But this was just one battle in a much larger war. While the humans had won this initial confrontation, the full might of the Galactic Empire was still on its way. In hidden labs around the world, scientists worked frantically to understand and improve the alien technology they'd captured. Every piece of wreckage, every disabled ship was a treasure trove of new discoveries. Dr. Wong stood in her lab, examining a strange alien device. "If we can crack this," she muttered, "we might just have a chance." Meanwhile, in refugee camps and underground shelters, ordinary people did what humans do best. They adapted. Kids played aliens vs. humans in the streets, while adults formed new communities, sharing skills and resources. In Australia's outback, Aboriginal trackers led guerrilla attacks against alien patrols, using their deep knowledge of the land to outmaneuver the invaders. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes worked with scientists to develop new medicines from native plants, helping to counter alien bioweapons. Humanity's greatest strength was its diversity, and now that diversity was turned towards a single goal: survival. As the first day of the invasion drew to a close, both sides took stock. The Empire had lost far more ships and troops than expected, while Earth had suffered severe damage but was far from beaten. President Chen addressed the world from her bunker. "We have bloodied their nose," she said, her voice tired but determined. "But this is just the beginning. Stay strong, stay united. We will prevail." As night fell, the people of Earth looked up at the stars, now hidden behind the hulls of alien ships. But instead of fear, many felt a growing sense of determination. The Galactic Empire had started this fight, but humanity was going to finish it. The invasion had begun, but so had Earth's revolution, and the galaxy was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating the human spirit. 3 months into the invasion, the war had reached a stalemate. The Galactic Empire controlled the skies, but humans dominated the ground. Every city was a battlefield, every mountain a fortress. In the ruins of Tokyo, a group of human soldiers crouched behind a fallen alien ship. Captain Yuki Tanaka peered through her binoculars at the massive Imperial walker stomping through the streets. "Ready the EMP cannon," she whispered into her radio. Suddenly, a blinding flash lit up the sky. The walker froze mid-step, then toppled over with a thunderous crash. "Direct hit," cheered Private Rodriguez. Those alien bastards never saw it coming. But their celebration was cut short as a swarm of Imperial drones filled the air. "Scatter," Yuki yelled, but it was too late. The drones opened fire, their energy beams cutting through concrete like butter. Just when all seemed lost, a flock of eagles swooped down from the clouds. But these weren't ordinary birds. They were biomechanical drones, created by combining Earth's wildlife with alien tech. The eagle drones tore into the Imperial swarm, their razor-sharp talons ripping through metal and circuitry. Within minutes, the sky was clear. Yuki stared in amazement. "I guess Dr. Wang's crazy ideas aren't so crazy after all," she muttered. Meanwhile, in a secret underwater base in the Mariana Trench, Dr. Amelia Wang stood before a group of world leaders. Behind her, a massive screen showed a 3D model of the alien flagship, the Eternal Dominion. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, her voice filled with excitement, "we've cracked their encryption. We now have full access to the Empire's communication network." The room erupted in cheers. This was the break they'd been waiting for. President Chen stepped forward, her face grim but determined. "Excellent work, Doctor. Now, let's use this to end this war once and for all." In orbit, aboard the Eternal Dominion, Emperor Zax was losing patience. How have these primitives held out for so long? He roared, smashing a control panel with one of his tentacles. His advisors cowered in fear. "Your Eminence," one brave soul spoke up, "perhaps we should consider a different approach. These humans are unpredictable." Zax's eyes narrowed. "Are you suggesting we retreat?" he hissed. Before the advisor could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. "We're under attack," shouted the tactical officer. On the main screen, hundreds of small ships appeared out of nowhere. They moved in impossible patterns, dodging every shot fired at them. "What are those?" Zax demanded. The tactical officer looked bewildered. "According to our scans, they're piloted by children." Indeed, Earth had turned to its youngest generation for help. Millions of kids, their brains more adaptable to the neural interfaces of the hybrid human-alien ships, had volunteered to defend their planet. Leading the charge was 14-year-old Ava Chen, the president's daughter. Her voice crackled over the comms. "Remember your training, just like in the simulations." The child pilots weaved through the Imperial defenses, their movements too erratic and unpredictable for the Empire's AI to track. They fired strange weapons that phased through shields, disabling ships without destroying them. On Earth, humans watched the battle unfold on screens and holograms. In refugee camps and underground bunkers, people cheered as they saw the mighty Eternal Dominion, the symbol of imperial power, slowly go dark. As system after system failed, Emperor Zax realized the terrible truth. They had grossly underestimated these humans. What seemed like primitive behavior was actually a kind of adaptability and creativity the Empire had never encountered before. In a hidden lab in Antarctica, Dr. Wong and her team monitored the space battle. "It's working," she exclaimed. "The quantum entanglement device is disabling their systems." This device, reverse-engineered from captured alien tech and combined with human ingenuity, was the key to turning the tide of the war. As the Eternal Dominion drifted powerless in space, Emperor Zax did something he had never done before. He opened a channel to Earth. "People of Earth," he said, his voice lacking its usual arrogance, "we miscalculated. We offer an immediate cessation of hostilities." In the UN bunker, President Chen smiled. "No, Emperor Zax," she replied. "You didn't miscalculate. You underestimated. And now you'll face the consequences. We warned you to run." As cheers erupted around the world, humans knew this was just the beginning. They had beaten back the invasion, but now they had the whole galaxy to explore. And the galaxy wasn't ready for humanity. 6 months after the failed invasion of Earth, humanity was ready to take the fight to the stars. The captured Eternal Dominion, now renamed Earthship 1, led a fleet of hybrid human-alien vessels towards the heart of the Galactic Empire. Captain Maria Gonzalez stood on the bridge of Earthship 1, her eyes fixed on the swirling colors of hyperspace outside the view screen. "Status report," she commanded. "All systems nominal, Captain," replied her AI assistant, an advanced program that combined alien tech with human creativity. "We'll reach the Centauri system in 5 minutes." Maria nodded. Centauri was their first target, a major imperial stronghold and shipyard. Taking it would cripple the Empire's ability to wage war. As they exited hyperspace, alarms blared. "Imperial ships detected," shouted the tactical officer. "Deploy the swarm," Maria ordered calmly. From the belly of Earthship 1, thousands of tiny drones poured out. Each was piloted by a human mind back on Earth, linked through quantum entanglement. The drones moved in perfect coordination, overwhelming the Imperial defenses. On a planet below, aliens watched in fear as the sky filled with fire. Many had never seen a real battle before. The Empire's conquests were usually quick and one-sided. But these humans fought like nothing they'd ever seen. In the Imperial Palace on the capital world, Emperor Zax received the news of Centauri's fall with disbelief. "How?" he roared. "How are they beating us?" His advisors cowered, but one brave soul spoke up. "Your Eminence, we've analyzed their tactics. They're unpredictable. They don't follow any known military doctrine. It's like they're making it up as they go along." Zax's eyes narrowed. "Then we must adapt. Send word to all our worlds. We mobilize everything." But it was too late. News of the Empire's defeat at Earth had spread, inspiring rebellions on hundreds of subjugated worlds. Long-oppressed species saw hope in humanity's victory. On the forest world of Arborea, tree-like aliens used their control over plants to strangle imperial bases with vines. In the methane seas of Neptulox, aquatic creatures sabotaged underwater imperial facilities. Humanity's advance continued. They didn't just bring weapons, they brought ideas. Concepts like freedom and self-determination spread like wildfire among the Empire's subjects. Dr. Wong, now aboard Earthship 1, marveled at the alien tech they'd captured. "With this," she told Captain Gonzalez, "we can offer these worlds so much. Clean energy, advanced medicine, faster-than-light communication." Maria nodded. "We're not just winning a war, we're changing the galaxy." Back on Earth, President Chen addressed the United Nations. "We have a choice," she said. "We can punish the Empire for their attack, or we can show them a better way. I say we do both. The plan was ambitious. Earth would dismantle the Empire's military, but also offer membership in a new galactic federation, a union of free worlds, bound by shared principles rather than force. As Earthship One approached the Imperial capital, they received an unexpected message. It was from a group calling themselves the Imperial Resistance, aliens within the Empire who had been inspired by Earth's example. "We've sabotaged their main defenses," the message said. "The palace is yours for the taking." The final battle was swift. Human ships, aided by rebels from 100 worlds, swarmed the capital. Emperor Zax, realizing all was lost, tried to flee, but his escape pod was intercepted by a small Earth fighter. As Zax was brought aboard Earthship One in chains, he found himself face to face with Captain Gonzalez. "You could have avoided all this," Maria said softly. "We warned you to run." Zax lowered all 4 of his eyes. What will you do with me?" he asked, fear evident in his voice. Maria smiled. "That's not for me to decide. You'll face a trial, a fair one, something your empire never offered its victims." As news of the Empire's fall spread across the galaxy, celebrations erupted on countless worlds. Species that had been enemies for millennia found themselves united in joy and hope. On Earth, humans looked to the stars with new eyes. They had faced their greatest challenge and emerged victorious. But they knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was a big place, full of wonders and dangers, but humanity was ready. They had warned the Empire to run. Now, the rest of the universe would learn why. 5 years had passed since the fall of the Galactic Empire. The galaxy was a very different place now. Where once there had been fear and oppression, now there was hope and cooperation. And at the center of it all was Earth. In the Grand Hall of the newly built Galactic Federation headquarters on Mars, representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered. The air buzzed with excitement as beings of all shapes and sizes mingled, their translator devices allowing for easy communication. At the podium stood President Sarah Chen, now serving as the first galactic coordinator. Her hair had more gray now, but her eyes still shone with the same determination that had led humanity through the war. "Friends, allies, fellow sentients," she began, her voice echoing through the hall. 5 years ago, we faced extinction. Today, we stand united, not just as survivors, but as architects of a new future. In the audience, Dr. Amelia Wong nodded in agreement. Her work combining human ingenuity with alien technology had revolutionized everything from medicine to space travel. Now she led the Galactic Science Council, overseeing research that would benefit all species. "We've made incredible progress," Chen continued. "The faster-than-light communication network now connects even the farthest reaches of our Federation. The interspecies medical exchange has cured diseases that once plagued entire civilizations. And our joint peacekeeping forces ensure that no world need fear invasion or oppression ever again." Among those peacekeepers was Captain Maria Gonzalez, hero of the war against the Empire. She sat in her uniform, decorated with medals from a dozen grateful species. Next to her was Zoc, a reformed Imperial soldier who had become one of her most trusted officers. Their friendship symbolized the new era of cooperation. "But our greatest achievement," Chen said, her voice growing softer, "has been learning from each other. Humans have gained wisdom from ancient alien cultures, and in return, we've shared our unique perspective, our creativity, our adaptability, our indomitable spirit." In a corner of the hall, a group of alien children played with human kids, their laughter a testament to the bright future ahead. They were using a new game that taught principles of physics through fun challenges, developed jointly by human and alien educators. "We face challenges still," Chen admitted. "There are those who resist change, who cling to old hatreds. The remnants of the Empire still cause trouble in the outer regions, but together, we are strong. Together, we can overcome anything." In orbit above Mars, the Earthship One floated serenely, Once the flagship of humanity's resistance, it now served as a museum and training center. New cadets from all species learned about the war, not as a tale of victory and defeat, but as a lesson in the costs of aggression and the power of unity. Back in the hall, President Chen's speech was nearing its end. 5 years ago, we warned the Empire to run. They didn't listen, and they fell. But from their fall, we've built something greater than any empire. We've built a family of worlds, bound not by fear, but by mutual respect and shared dreams. She paused, looking out at the diverse crowd. The galaxy once trembled at the thought of humanity unleashed among the stars. They feared our weapons, our cunning, our unpredictability. But now they see the truth. Our greatest strength was never our ability to fight. It was our ability to unite, to empathize, to see possibilities where others saw only problems. As Chen finished her speech, the hall erupted in applause. Tentacles, claws, hands, and appendages of all kinds came together in a thunderous ovation. The sound echoed not just through the hall, but across the galaxy, a symphony of 1,000 worlds united in hope. Outside, the Martian sky sparkled with stars. But they were no longer distant, unreachable points of light. They were home to friends, allies, and endless possibilities. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. The Empire had feared humans. The galaxy had underestimated them. But in the end, humanity's greatest victory wasn't defeating an enemy. It was making friends. As the celebration continued into the night, one thing was clear. The future was bright, and it belonged to all of them, together.